Hi everyone! It's both of us today.
Hi.
We wanted to sit down together and go through kind of what's going on in our lives and what our goals are and what's up with both of us today.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll plan to do this maybe once a month-ish.
Sounds good to me.
I'm gonna check in and see how we're doing on our goals and what's going on in our lives. So exciting life things going on for us is pretty much just that we've started keto.
Yep.
Both of us. How would you say that's going, honey?
Difficult. I
Yeah.
like pasta.
Yeah. Giving up pasta's hard, but we found some keto alternatives to fill the need. It's different, but we can still put pasta sauce on it and eat it like pasta.
Losing sugar was hard too.
Yep, losing sugar was hard, but
Keto honey. Lifesaver.
yes, we did get some keto honey and keto strawberry jam from a company called Chalk Zero, which has been a lifesaver. We also got some keto chocolate chips. Maybe later today I'll make us some chocolate chip cookies.
I'm gonna have a good day.
So what is one of your goals for 2023?
So for those of you on the channel, the whole 5 people that may be watching that don't know, I'm in optometry school at the Kentucky College of Optometry. And last semester I got a 3.15 GPA. I thought it was higher, but one of my grades was lower than expected. So I want to bump that up to at least a 3.2. I think it's pretty feasible for me to get that. I, in general, do pretty well on exams. Second goal of mine is our tests are in sections. So like you take we have 5 classes this semester. You take all 5 of your class exams on the same day at the same time. They randomize them. They're called block exams. It's to prepare you for the board exam at the end of our 4-year program. Essentially, my goal is to not fail a single section, which is a pretty lofty goal according to the third years in our building.
But you did it last semester.
I did do it last semester. I don't like to brag too much, but I did do it last semester.
He's killing it in school. He's doing great.
I'm doing good. Doing okay. I could do better. I could always do better. And my goal is to not fail a single section, get above a 3.2 GPA. And those are some of my goals for this year.
My first goal this year is to work through some of my yarn stash.
Please do that.
I documented in my journal all of the yarn that I have. Actually, I don't even think I counted all of it. I think I missed some.
And it was in there?
Oh, there's not. That's all scrap yarn. I did forget to pull that out.
Scrap yarn doesn't count.
I did forget to pull that out and count it, but the big scrap yarns that I had in my storage totes, I did count. And full skeins, from what I counted, I have about 50.
Holy crap, babe. That's so much yarn.
Maybe more.
You know, I can't even talk because I definitely have more than 50 video games on Steam, so.
Yeah.
Oops.
So, but the worst part of it is that I bought some of this yarn with projects in mind, and now those projects don't really inspire me anymore. I don't really have interest in making some of them, so this year I want to work through the yarn that I have by working on projects that do inspire me, that I have the yarn for, and then finding new projects that I can make with yarn that I already have. I'm also going to work on that goal by only buying yarn for things that I am going to immediately work on.
That's not gonna happen.
I'm gonna try. It helps.
Count that one as an L right now.
It helps. It helps that our local yarn shop that had more specialty yarns unfortunately closed.
It's a nice place
So it was a nice place. So sorry I messed up your hair. It was a nice place and we're very bummed about it, but it closing will help control my urges to buy yarn because the only craft store in the area is Hobby Lobby,
Boo.
which we're not fans of.
Boo. Hobby Lobby sucks.
Yeah. But when you need yarn, you need yarn. But
This is
then
true.
sometimes you can order yarn online. So there's options. I'm also hoping to look through my yarn and anything that I don't want to give away to friends who want to learn. We have at least one friend who is in the beginning processes of learning to crochet, and I gave her a ball of yarn for Hanukkah. But maybe as I go through and find more yarn that I'm just not going to use, maybe I'll see if she wants it.
First yarn giveaway, 100 subscribers. Yeah. Please, for the love of God, take it away from her.
Yes. The 100th subscriber to
Number
the channel
100
gets
gets
yarn.
the stash. You can
Gets
have
a
it
whole
all.
stash.
You can have it all.
Let's see.
That was a joke.
Our next goal, kind of as a couple, is to work on our health and fitness, which we are doing through keto.
Fitness.
Fitness.
One thing I'm fitness is fitting this pizza in my mouth. Yeah.
But hey, that keto pizza turned out great.
Actually, it's pretty
so-
fire. She made it with egg and Parmesan.
Mozzarella.
See, I don't know anything about food. Egg and mozzarella, and she bakes it like 450 degrees for a little bit of time, and it makes it kind of act like a crust. Then she puts pizza toppings on it, and I'm not even gonna lie to you, it's pretty much just an omelet pizza, but it's damn delicious. So
It's good.
it's the good stuff.
And you cook it. The goal is to cook it till it's kind of a crispier crust, so it feels less like an omelet. And there's a lot of cheese in there that helps with that. But we're also working on the formulation of the pizza to make it perfect. But it's still already delicious. We're just working on getting the crust, the toppings, everything exactly how we like it.
It's still pretty good.
It's
I
still
mean,
pretty
I'd eat it, but I'd eat anything. So
good.
I guess you can't really use me as a good gauge because I'd eat anything.
And in working on health and fitness, for me, I'm hoping to incorporate daily workouts, which I think is going to be in the form of yoga for me, just because I can do that in our living room without disturbing our downstairs neighbors and not having to get up and leave the house in the morning for a workout.
Hey babe, why is it hard to get a yoga person to go home?
Why?
Every time they're ready to leave, they say namaste.
That was a good one. Also within health and fitness, we want to work on our nutrition. So not just doing keto, but making sure that the meals that we pick within the keto umbrella are nutritious, have dark leafy greens, good sources of protein, kind of trying to reduce red meat. Red meat's a treat, we can eat it.
What if we could put spinach on the pizzas?
We probably could.
I bet you that'd be a very easy way to get me to eat spinach.
Yeah. Or making quiches with spinach in them. That's always a good option.
Man, now I'm hungry.
Yeah. It's about lunchtime for us. But the reason we're so hungry right now is because we're also, with keto, doing intermittent fasting.
It's been very difficult.
Dawson's more dedicated to it than I am, but I learned, I'm doing research about all of this as we go, and I learned that because of the difference in hormones between men and women have to fast differently.
Yep.
So Dawson's for sure trying to limit his eating between what hours?
I try to eat between like 1 and 7. But that's been pretty tough because Emma gets off work around 7, so I kind of push it to like 1 to 8. Probably be okay. Usually you want a 16-hour gap between your meals, and then you eat between the other amount of time. So as long as you have like an 8-hour cushion, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
My doc said 1 to 6, but that's just not realistic. So I'm doing more like 1 to 8.
Yeah. I think he might have said 12 to 6. so we pushed
I
it.
don't know. We pushed
I
it.
don't know. But we had to think about, okay, what is realistic for our schedules?
I mean, essentially, if you skip breakfast and you have a 16-hour gap, you're getting the metabolic effect of the fast. So that's all that really matters.
Yeah, and it's also interesting seeing how our appetites have changed while doing keto.
It is interesting.
We have been, when we eat smaller amounts in general.
Yep.
And we
Used to.
crave different things.
You more than me for the cravings. Like, I could still maw on pizza. You already know that. But
Oh, I mean, I could too. But I will weirdly just sometimes crave broccoli.
Yeah, see, I've been craving olives. What a weird thing. Like,
Yeah.
I literally made her buy olives because I was like, I need that taste. I don't know what it was about it, but something.
And I do not like olives, so
No, she
those
doesn't.
are
Those are
entirely for
My
dogs.
olives.
Mhm.
Pickles and olives, man. Keto snacker's best friend.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like my cravings have been like for example, I used to like always want to eat mac and cheese. Now I can like whatever about mac and cheese.
Oh, I miss mac and cheese.
You miss mac and cheese?
Yeah, I don't like crave it though. I
See-
miss it, but I don't crave it.
I think for me, in order to have any chance of keep holding on to this diet, I have to like pretend that Kraft dinner doesn't exist. Kraft dinner's not real. It's not actually real. It's a figment of my imagination.
Mhm.
Just a long lost dream from when I was a kid. Because I used to be able to eat like a whole family size box of mac and cheese myself. Not good. Can't do that no more.
Yeah. That kind of brings us back to one of the reasons that we started this was because we knew that we weren't eating very healthy, and we needed to make a change.
Lots of ramen, Kraft dinner, and pizza, man.
So,
That's what we ate.
yeah, we always knew that that wasn't healthy, but we kind of decided
Cheap
at
and
the end
easy.
of last year, yeah, it was cheap and easy.
Cheap and easy.
We decided at the end of last year that we needed to change that, and it was not our New Year's resolution. It was not. We started before the new year,
We did.
which means we're less likely to fail, I think. People fail their New Year's
Oh,
resolutions all the time.
People already failed their gym New Year's resolutions.
Oh, yeah.
So
So, what are we doing in January to work towards these goals that we're setting for 2023?
I gotta try and study a couple hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying that. I
So your
did
first-
good yesterday, but not today so far.
So far, I mean, day's just starting. It's only,
We'll study
it's not
it.
even one yet. We just got back from church.
We'll study at the bowling alley. It's fine. I
Yeah.
have my pathways. Good to go.
That's honestly a good study we found last
It's
semester.
crazy. You would
It's a
never
good
expect
study
that.
technique
Yep.
because associating studying with something fun helps him remember. And he honestly did better on the part of block
I did.
that he studied
Got
at
a
the
perfect
bowling
score
alley.
on that part.
Yeah.
Did not get a perfect score on the other stuff. That's okay.
So
I never got below a 73 on a single section.
Yeah.
I hit a 73 once, but that's still passing.
it's passing.
That's passing.
It works.
Because the other people didn't hit a 73. That was bad. That was the worst block we
Mm.
had, dude. Whew.
Yikes.
Block 2 anatomy and block 2 biochem were brutal.
When's your next block?
My next block is January 30th.
Okay, so
Today is January 15th. So I have 15 days to study. That's plenty of time.
you've got this.
Oh, dude. Considering I've aced every practice question, every practice question, every practice quiz we've had so far, I'm feeling pretty good.
You're not gonna feel this confident like the day before the exam or the
No,
weekend
I'm
before.
gonna be freaking out. This is
But-
what happens every time.
Yeah, this is the cycle. He feels good, and then the closer we get to the
He
exam, starts to panic, and then he ends up being fine.
Then he takes the test and he's completely fine, and then he panics after the test.
Yeah. For me, for my goals, I'm gonna start by just tracking how often I do yoga or go to the gym or whatever. I would like to try to do morning yoga 3 times a week. But I feel like I know myself, and I know that if I put too much pressure on myself, I'm just going to decide, nope, not doing this, give up. So we're gonna start slow and be mindful of my personality and how I function. So gonna take it slow, start by just tracking it, and I'm kind of starting with the same theory for my yarn stash. I started by documenting. I wrote it all down in the notebook. to make myself aware of how much yarn I have. And then that list is going to help me begin planning what I'm going to do with that yarn in the future. And I already have begun using some of it that I didn't have any new plans for. I started a temperature blanket, which is something I never thought that I would want to make, but watching different people's videos online, I decided, hey, I want to make one this year to document our first full year living in Kentucky together.
Pretty good.
It's a pretty
Pretty
good
good
year.
year.
Mm-hmm. As far as keto goes, I think a good goal for us for January is to find at least 5 like fully nutritious meals that we really enjoy.
You should try making like a chicken with spinach.
Yeah.
So like, what if we did? This is just off the dome. What if we did like a chicken with a cream cheese and cheddar, that kind of sauce that you made that one time?
Okay.
And then we also like had like spinach with it. Like we did
Like
you know how there's like spinach artichoke dip. You know,
Yeah.
we can eat that, right?
Make a
Because that's keto.
spinach artichoke.
Like covering for like 2 full chicken breasts. That would
Yeah.
be a good way to get the greens in.
It would be. That's a
As
good
long
idea.
as long as you eat the spinach.
It doesn't have to be fresh. It can
No.
be steamed as
I
long
mean,
as you
they
eat it.
say that you lose some of the nutritional value from it by steaming it, but I'm like, I don't care. I'm just gonna eat it anyway.
Yeah.
That's the only way I will eat it, so I guess that's better than not. Yeah, so like steamed spinach, make that with that like cream cheese, because like the whole point is we're like trying to get fat in our diet, which
Yeah.
it seems counterintuitive, but I mean, scientifically it works. I don't know.
For anyone who doesn't know, keto is essentially a fancy way of saying an extremely low carb diet.
Yeah.
So we are, instead of using carbohydrates as our fuel source for our bodies, we're eliminating carbs from our diet as much as we can. We're shooting for around 20 grams of carbs a day, which is very low. You don't realize how low it is until you try to do it and you realize, oh, I can't eat anything that I usually would.
Yeah.
So we are pretty much completely eliminating carbs from our diet, so that tricks our bodies, not really tricks, but it forces our bodies to use fat as its main fuel source.
That's right.
Which is good for it's great for weight loss, really. And it also helps with metabolic flexibility so that you can use ketones, which is where keto comes from the name. You use ketones instead of carbs, which can help with a whole lot of other health concerns.
But you can't do keto if you're type 2 diabetic or type 1 diabetic.
Yeah, so if anyone is watching this that is considering doing keto, first of all, be aware it's difficult. Second of all, talk to your doctor first.
Definitely talk to your doctor first.
We first to talk to Dawson's doctor, and do we want to say that?
Sure.
We first talked to Dawson's doctor about it. He recommended it.
Yep.
And then when I had my doctor's appointment later this week, I talked to her about it, and she said, yeah, sounds good. So we're both in the clear for it. So yeah, there's a lot of good benefits to keto.
And some bad ones.
And some bad ones, but we're getting through it, and I think so. The plan is to do keto either until we get the weight off or 6 months.
Yep.
If we get the weight off before the 6 months, we'll keep going until the 6 months.
Probably.
If we don't get the weight off by the 6 month point, we'll keep doing keto until.
I'm pretty sure if you wait until 6 months, it's easier to get back into ketosis if you need to.
Exactly.
Because like your brain already has the so your brain can only use 2 things for energy. The only 2 things it can use are glucose, which is sugar, or it can use ketone bodies, which is from fat, right? Well, technically your brain can also use like pure fatty acids, but like just doesn't. Our biochem professor was just like, we don't really know why he doesn't do that. So we were like, cool. So, I mean, essentially, you make the ketone body by breaking down the fat in your body. You can't just use straight fat. Probably because you don't want straight fat going to your brain. You don't want to be developing any visceral fat in your brain matter. That would probably be bad.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's how it would work, but probably not, because you need a specific type of receptor.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's not a way for that to be possible,
No,
according to the research I've
your
done.
Your brain uses GLUT2 receptors, and your muscles and other places where fat gets stored uses GLUT4, and I think that difference is why it can't happen.
I've done a lot of research on keto, but Dawson really understands the biology of how it works.
He barely passed biochem. I mean, I got over a 3-point, but like...
You just in general know more biology than me.
Sometimes.
Most of the time. You're literally in school, in grad school, for a science. So, I studied social science.
But she studied keto more than me, so there's that. I didn't do any research on this diet. I just dove right into it.
I'm like, I want to know how it is going to affect me. And I learned through our research that it affects female bodies differently.
Guy brain would say, do what doctors say. That's what happened to me.
Yeah, I said, do what doctor says, but also we got the original recommendation from his doctor, not mine. So I wanted to do research and make sure, like, hey, this isn't a bad decision for me, right? And then I double checked that with my own doctor as well.
All right, from the top.
All right. Our next topic of conversation is what we're stocking. And this is kind of used in a lot of knitting podcasts. I believe Kim and Jana do it on Knit Together with Kim and Jana, I believe is the name of their podcast.
I know those two.
Link it. Yes, Dawson watches my knitting podcasts with me, or listens while I play. Well, I knit, he plays video games.
It's definitely willing. I'm 100% a willing participant.
100%.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy sock lady. Yes. I know her too.
Love her.
She actually made me a pair of socks. It was pretty lit.
So this category is basically like, what are we interested in right now? For me, like, what knitting patterns am I looking at that I would maybe like to do someday? And, for Dawson,
just stuff.
Just stuff. The first project that I've been looking at for a while now, ever since I got the first catalog where it was on the cover from Mary Maxim, is the Modern Blanket of Flowers. It is a crochet blanket that has a bunch of different pretty flowers. You do, I think it's like hexagons or something, with a flower on each one, a different color flower. Well, I mean, not every single hexagon, but there's a color palette, and you've got like maybe 5 different colors of flowers, and you make a bunch of these hexagons and seam them together into this big afghan.
Wow.
And it's really cute. So I've been looking at that, but it's gonna take a lot of yarn, so I don't know if I'll ever make it, or I can't make it until I get rid of some of my stash. Also, they sell a kit on their website for it, and it's not cheap.
Oh boy.
It's less expensive than the
Pokemon thing?
The Pokemon 31 Days of Yarn.
Please don't buy that. It's so
yeah, it was such a cute idea that I saw. Nitty Natty was talking about it on her podcast, and I looked it up. It's by Fangirl Fibers, and it is 31 days of yarn. You get 31 mini skeins that are all based off of Pokemon, which is such a cute idea, but it's also like $200. So will not be purchasing that, even though it's a super cute idea. The next project that I'm stocking is called His Vest by Church Mouse Yarns and Tees. His Vest. His.
I need a vest.
So about a year ago, I told Dawson that I was gonna knit him a vest. Actually, I think he requested that I knit you a vest.
I did, because I don't have one.
He doesn't have a vest, so he wanted one, and we picked a pattern. I think this was around the time that the conflict in the Ukraine was starting, so we picked a design by a Ukrainian
That's right.
designer,
Yep.
and it's gorgeous. No issue with the pattern itself. It was the yarn that I chose. I picked it out online, which was a mistake. And unfortunately, the thickness of the yarn was not what I was expecting. It was labeled as a sport weight yarn, and it's more towards the DK weight side of the spectrum. So for people like Dawson who don't know what that means, the thickness of yarn exists on a scale with different labels on it.
That makes sense.
So the lightest is lace weight.
What's the heaviest?
The heaviest is bulky weight. There might actually be an extra category. Oh my goodness.
Bulky weight.
There might actually be an extra bulky weight.
Double bulky weight.
But so it goes from lace weight, fingering weight, sport weight, which is what I thought I was buying, DK weight, which is more like what I actually have, then Aran, worsted, and bulky.
Cool.
So it wouldn't have been too much of a problem if it was a simple knit, but it was also just more challenging because it had a bunch of cables in it. Trying to do cables on yarn that is too thick for the needles that I'm trying to use makes the cables really tight and challenging, and I was hurting my hands trying to make it.
No.
So I tried ripping it out, and I was going to make it on different size needles, and I did like a gauge swatch to see what size I would have to knit to do that, and it just added up to be too much work. So we decided that I wasn't going to do it. And Dawson told me, oh, you don't need to knit me a vest. I don't need one. Turns out,
I lied.
he lied. He just said the other day, I really need a vest.
I do.
So yeah, he was...
What were we getting dressed up for that I needed a vest? Your birthday dinner.
My birthday dinner! So, yeah, turns out Dawson was just being nice, and didn't want me to make life hard on myself for a project for him, but he still needs a vest, as we discovered when we were trying to get dressed up for my birthday dinner last week.
I don't have a vest.
He doesn't.
I don't like sleeves.
Yeah.
Me and sleeves are enemies.
Mm-hmm.
They hide the gains. And they're just uncomfortable.
Fair enough. So, this vest pattern, his vest, is much simpler, and it is meant to be knit with DK weight yarn. So I can use the yarn that we have, because it's still the color that we like. It's just going to be a matter of getting a vest into your wardrobe, and having it be DK weight and no cables will actually help me complete it instead of just have it sit on the needles for a year like it did last time.
We won't have it again. What else are you stocking, babe?
The last thing I'm stocking is a sweater called Bean and Olive All Grown Up by Andrea Mowry. It's so cute. I'm gonna insert a picture. There, right there. Okay, you saw the picture. It's got hearts on it, Dawson. So the sample one that she knit has pink hearts on the top of a sweater is called the yoke.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Is it because your shoulders are yoked?
Exactly. On the yoke of the sweater, it has this color work done in different hearts. Ooh. And then the main color is gray, so you've got this pretty
that's good.
Pink color work with the contrast of the gray.
Sounds like it'd be pretty pretty.
Yeah, and I can, of course, choose different colors, but I like the way her sample looks.
Gray's a good color.
I first saw it as just the regular bean and olive, which is for children. And I really wanted it for me, so I was very excited when I saw that it does exist for adults, just under a very slightly different name. So I would like to knit that, and that will be my first truly color work pattern I've ever done, because I did a cowl last year in Mosaic.
A cowl.
I did a cowl last year using mosaic knitting, where you're using 2 colors, but each row you're only using one of the 2 colors. So you don't have to do all that yarn management. And I guess the sweater I'm working on for my sister right now is a good next step into color work, because I'm using 2 colors of yarn at once. So now the bean and olive, when I finally get around to it, this is like one of the ones that I'm like, I have to knit this. When I get around to knitting that one, that will be my next step into the world of color work.
Cool.
Dawson, what are you stocking?
Well, no people, for one. I don't do that. So I guess since I don't knit or crochet or craft or anything like that.
What are your hobbies, Dawson?
I like bowling. I like fishing. I like gaming. And I play music.
Yes.
Those are my 4 things. So I guess I'll say one thing I'm stocking from each thing.
Yeah.
That adds up. Okay, so we'll start with fishing. So for Christmas, my dad, he's a very simple man, which just like me. He said, use my credit card and buy yourself what you want. I said, sounds good, Dad. Thanks. So I was gonna order a toadfish rod and reel spinning combo. It can handle 10-pound line. It's perfect for the fish that are in the area that we live in now. And I like the colors because it's light blue. And of course, aesthetics are everything.
Yes.
So I was gonna order that for myself with my dad's card. Thanks, Dad. But it was on sale when I initially when I put it in my cart, and by the time I got around to actually like hit and check out, it wasn't on sale anymore. And I'm like, my dad, he lives in a different country, so the currency exchange is pretty tough sometimes. So I'm gonna wait till it goes on sale again, and then I'll get my Christmas present from my father. So
it might just be closer to fishing season when you get it.
Like conveniently be closer to like March or something, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm stocking in the fishing world. Oh, also mystery tackle box. Bowling stuff. I already have plenty of bowling balls, so I think I'm not gonna buy a new one.
But you're stocking one.
But I'm stocking one. I like the color blue, and I like the color green, and purple, and red. I like colors. Favorite color is gray though. How weird is that? So I'm stocking. It's weird to say.
I know.
I'm stocking a 900 Global Wolverine bowling ball, because when I wanted to get my first like better ball for when we joined a league that we eventually quit because it was just too expensive.
Did I talk about that in the last podcast?
I think you did.
I think so.
So when I bought my ball that I wanted, it's actually too strong. The one that I have right now, like it overhooks a lot for the way that I bowl. So I need one of a smaller differential so it doesn't hook as much. So Wolverine's a little bit lower than what I have right now, and I like the color. And when I first wanted to get an upgrade, I wanted to get a ball called the Honey Badger Revival. Emma will put a picture right here. And that ball was discontinued like 2 months before I like discovered it and like was watching videos on it and researched it. So I couldn't get one. So I don't know how long it actually was. I think it wasn't discontinued that long because the pro shop that we first went to ever actually had one on the shelf. So I almost picked that one, but I got a different one because I didn't know at the time what that ball was and if I'd want it or not. Fast forward like a couple months later, I go in to that shop and it's sold. So
Yeah.
sad. So I bought a different one from someone local here. I bought a Storm Night Road, picture here.
Mm-hmm.
And balls got a little too much hook for me, which is weird because everyone says it doesn't hook. So I don't know. Maybe I just bowl weird. It's probably true. I'm not that good.
We're still learning.
We're still learning. So I'm stocking a Wolverine from 900 Global. That's my brand, even though the Night Road is Storm, but that's okay. I think they're all under the same umbrella company. I think. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. So that's what I'm doing there. And then what's my other hobbies? Video games. All right, cool. Some games that I'm stalking right now. I try not to buy too many games because I'm one of those guys who does do microtransactions for games that I already play. I know I'm not supposed to, but I can't help it. Gun skins look cool, and Valorant's expensive. Riot Games, y'all need to chill. So I play Valorant. That's my number one game I play with a dude I met in California. Him and I are Valorant pro gamers. I play Cypher. There's not a single chance anybody who's watching this is gonna know what any of this means.
That's okay.
But that's okay. For the one kid in the background who's listening to their mom watch this knitting podcast, they'll be like, Valorant? I play Valorant. I play Cypher. I play. What else do I play? I play Hunt Showdown with my other buddy from California. I know a lot of people from California for some reason.
There's just a lot of people in California.
I think that's what it is. I just met, and just me and them have the same wavelengths, so we hang out a lot. And I play. Oh, my single player game that I'm playing right now when I don't feel like dealing with other people. Sometimes you need your own single player game. God of War 2018. I see why it won Game of the Year. I'm not as mad about it anymore as I was. Because originally I thought Red Dead Redemption 2 was a way better game. And I still think it's a better game. Okay, but I can see why God of War 1 is pretty fun. In fact, it's very fun.
Nice.
Games that I'm stalking that I want to get.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get a new Spectre skin in Valorant.
Alright.
Because I don't have one yet. And the default looks ugly.
Mm.
I want to get Marvel's Spider-Man and Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Because those are supposed to be really, really good. And in the future, let's see, what else am I looking forward to? Oh man, there's this space game that one of my other buddies, who's actually from Buffalo, plays. I know a lot of people from all over the country for some reason.
I mean,
it's like a space game, and usually it doesn't sound that interesting to me, but you get to fly the spaceship around and shoot stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I'll remember what it's called, and I'll put a picture here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, those are the three things for gaming. I have one more hobby.
Music.
Oh, I'm not talking anything for music, just because guitars are expensive.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not getting a new guitar. In fact, I got a new guitar right before we moved, and then I slept on it, and I was like, what am I doing spending this much money right before we move out of state? I'm an idiot, so I returned it the next day. It's a real bummer. It was a Jag Stang. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
By Fender. It's a Kurt Cobain special. I mean, I probably should have kept that guitar, if I'm being honest. I bet you'd be worth a lot of money one day. I got it in blue, too, which was the special color. So, probably should have kept it. But I just really wasn't in a position to be spending $1,200 on a guitar. I was making money. I had a pretty good paying job.
But you were about to not be making money.
I was about to not be making money.
And I didn't have a job lined up yet.
That's right. So, it just didn't make sense.
Our next category is life sponsors. Now, this category was inspired by a friend from back in Michigan, actually my old church pastor, who started doing a podcast with his wife.
JJ?
Yes.
I love JJ.
They decided, we're never going to have actual sponsors, but what is it that is making our lives just that much better? What is it in our lives that are improving our quality of life?
I got a couple. I can think of some off the top of my head.
All right. What are you thinking of right now?
I got a really good support network with Emma.
Aww.
And my buddies on Discord, who I talk to every day. I'm not going to use their real names, but they know who they are. I just want to give a huge shout out to my Discord support group. Whenever I'm studying or stressed out or venting, they're always there to listen to me, so they're the best. Shout out Little Poophead, you know who you are. Shout out Butterfly, Captain Cohan, Gulia, Corva, Airman, and Ms. Lineups as well. You don't know who that is yet, but we've been playing a lot more lately.
Okay.
Shout out to all those people. They're never going to watch this, doesn't really matter. But if they do make it this far, you're goated.
Awesome.
The other thing that is sponsoring my life, being fed every day. That is 100% sponsoring my life. Actually, I'm pretty proud of myself with how well I'm doing in my new hard classes. Like, they're pretty difficult, but like, I have not missed a single question on any of the review material yet. So I feel like I'm understanding it pretty well. So thank you all the doctors that are teaching me well and preparing me for boards. It's going to be a pretty big test, pretty scary test, but so far, feeling good. Well, I'm feeling good enough to sit here and record this for an hour instead of actually studying, so I guess I'm feeling pretty okay. What about you, babe? What is sponsoring your life?
Right now, Duncan Hines keto box mixes are sponsoring my life because we can't eat normal sweets anymore, and I have the biggest sweet tooth.
Her favorite food is chocolate.
Yeah.
Hands down. If we ever do one of those, your partner picks this thing and you both write it on a whiteboard at the same time and then you get points. You know, one of those things?
Yeah.
If you pick chocolate, if you don't pick chocolate, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And if I don't pick pizza, I'm lying to myself.
Yeah. So they have keto-friendly cake, brownies, and chocolate chip cookies.
Bless up.
We're probably gonna make some more of
Probably.
that later.
You said you were making me cookies today in the beginning of the video.
Am I gonna make the box mix, or am I going to make them from scratch?
Box mix.
The other thing that's sponsoring my life right now is the ice maker we got
Oh.
for Christmas.
Thank you, Grandma.
Yes.
That ice maker is honestly one of the greatest things we ever got. That, and thank you, Mama, for the countertop dishwasher.
Yes.
Because that has saved us a lot of arguments, and it has saved us a lot of time washing dishes.
Another life sponsor of mine is Disney Dreamlight Valley. I just started playing yesterday, and it's like Animal Crossing but Disney, and kind of almost better. So I'm loving it right now. It is improving my quality of life.
Oh.
Things we're working on. I am working on a sweater for my sister. I tried it on. It fits. It fits. I need to knit another inch about before I can split for the sleeves, but it's coming along better than the first attempt. And that pattern is the sea glass sweater. Awesome. I'm also working on Pooh Bear for my mom. I started working on the body, and I've done all of the increases. I just need to do the kind of straightaway that makes the torso, and then the decreases, and then I'll just have limbs and his shirt. So I'm doing the biggest chunk of him now to try to motivate myself. Like, after that, it's all easy, shorter, and seaming him together. I haven't quite started yet, but I'm going to start very soon working on the socks for Hannah. I said in the last video that I needed to do some research on how to do them better and make it easier on myself. And I did that yesterday, so I know what I'm gonna do. The Crazy Sock Lady had a great tutorial. She has been really into doing what she calls scrappy stripy socks. She's
That's
been
fun to say.
Yeah, scrappy stripy socks.
S cubed.
She's been talking about her scrappy stripy socks for at least a year, and she just released a pattern for them and some tutorials that go along with that. So I watched her video on how she changes colors and weaves in her ends for those. So I'm gonna follow that. when I do that. So I'm probably going to do that this weekend, today and tomorrow, and try to get that done. And then the last project I'm working on is my temperature blanket, which I mentioned before. All right, camera decided it was full of storage, so if the video quality just drastically changed, that's why. But we wanted to pop back and finish what we were saying. So we were talking about things we're working on. The last thing I'm working on is my temperature blanket. I have the first 2 weeks of January done, and I'm documenting the high, average, and low of each week. And since we just finished the second week of January, I'm all caught up so far. So that's my last thing that I'm working on. Dawson, are you working on anything?
School.
What is the most interesting thing that you learned this semester so far that you can explain in layman's terms?
This is kind of cool.
Okay.
So you have 12 cranial nerves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for those who don't know at home, you have 12 cranial nerves, and they come from your brain. That's why they're called cranial nerves,
Mm-hmm.
right? The third one comes from your midbrain, and it's called the oculomotor nerve, and it does what you think it does. It moves your eyes. But you have a nucleus, which is where the nerve originates on the suprasentorial part of the midbrain, okay? That nucleus, 2 of the muscles, nerve like origination, like impulses, come from the opposite side than you'd expect. So if you have damage to like the right side nucleus, your left upper like muscle doesn't work right. So instead of it being the same side like you'd think, it's contralateral. It's the other side. So like the other eye won't be able to go up. But there's one muscle that is responsible for your upper eyelids retracting or going up towards the skull, like opening. The muscle is called levator palpebrae superioris. Google it. And that is shared in the nucleus. So if there's like, say there's damage like the entire half, okay, all of the muscles that aren't contralateral will be affected, that are innervated by cranial nerve 3, because like your superior oblique muscle isn't, and your lateral rectus muscle isn't. Those are different cranial nerves I'll talk about in a different video. So your eyes will have different effects on both sides instead of just the side that has the damage. So both eyelids won't be able to like open all the way. I'm pretty sure it's open. So like it causes ptosis, so they sink down. So like both eyelids won't be able to open all the way, and your other eyes, like a muscle responsible for like raising your eye upward towards the top of your skull, doesn't work. So that's pretty interesting that we learned about.
Awesome.
More fun cranial nerve stuff soon.
Yes.
Thanks, neuroanatomy.
Thanks, neuroanatomy. All right. And what are the things we're looking forward to coming up? I'm looking forward to enjoying an extra day off this weekend.
Amen. I'll double down.
Mm-hmm.
Extra day off.
The other thing we are looking forward to is I finished the quilt that was planned by Dawson and his buddies for their friend who recently had a baby, join his family. So we are excited to get the reaction of the family.
Figure out how we're going to get it to them.
Yes. We've got to get it to them. It's all ready to go, so we're just...
Package and ship.
Yep, just got to package and ship, and we're hoping that they love it.
They'll love it.
They will, but
They will.
we're excited to hear from them on their reactions.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that about does it for
for
this episode.
What are we calling this podcast?
I don't know. I called my first one Self-Care and Knit With Me, but this is not that. This is more like a monthly check-in.
Sure. Monthly check-in. Good
Monthly
name.
Goals check-in.
Name is tentative.
Name tentative.
What should we call it? Drop it in the comments below.
Drop it in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Double call to actions never work. That only one. Just kidding. Actually, I think you're supposed to like do it like as much as you can or something like that. It's kind of
Probably.
ridiculous. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what should she knit. What should she knit next? And what should I play next?
Mhm.
All right.
All right.
This is D&E official signing off.
D&E official. There you go. Bye.
Bye. Edit number 2. Edit number 3. No swearing.
Okay. No swearing on this Good Family channel.
I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to swear on a knitting channel. Edit number 4.
No, I'm not about to put my feet on camera.
You're just gonna watch my sacrum just split in half if I even try that. Won't be good.
I'll put my feet in socks on camera, but my feet are bare right now. Not gonna happen.
You can't put the dogs on camera.
No.
That's against the rules.
It's not that type of channel.
Not for free, at least.
No. On my OnlyFans.
But OnlyFans coming soon. Because it's not her feet. It's mine. Edit number 7. The two
Knit
sweet
with
ladies.
Kim and Jonna. They are the two sweet ladies
Oh.
that record in a yarn shop.
I like them. I know the lady that socks.
What's
know
her
her.
name?
Insane sock person.
Nope.
Crazy sock woman.
So close.
Crazy sock lady.
Yes.
Nailed it. First try. Edit. First. Yes, Donkey Kong yarn.
Of
Definitely the wrong. Alright, let's try that again.
Yeah.
Edit number 9.